An NYPD officer by the name of Gilberto Valle has been arrested because he apparently dreamed about and plotted to kidnap, torture, cook, and eat at least 100 women. Now, he
was ambitious, at least.
Yeah.
He would correspond with people online, tell them how he plans on doing it, and he didn't carry out actual cannibalism, but he took the initial steps in order to do so. So that's why he got arrested.
I'm curious, I hope you're going to tell me what the initial steps toward cannibalism are.
You just nibble on the toes a little bit. Some people confuse it for a foot fetish.
Like, is it a spice?
He got some paprika. No, look.
He would outline plans on how he would do it. So, for instance, he had authorities found a document on his computer titled "Abducting and Cooking Victim 1," and it was basically a blueprint for how he would do it. And he got very specific. For instance, he wanted to figure out a way to fit a woman's body on top of the oven, or on the stove, I should say. So he talked about how he would fold her body. I mean, it was just heinous stuff that he would outline in this document.
Now, we joke around about it a little bit because he didn't actually do it, right? So nobody got hurt. But you need to understand why they arrested him and how serious this was. It wasn't just a fantasy. It wasn't just a dream. It wasn't just him saying it online, which he was. He bragged to friends that were also in the cannibal community about how, and he would say, oh, this one woman looks really tasty.
I mean, I get that there's a thing for everything, but I can't believe there's a thing for this. I can't believe he managed to. How do you find other people? Like, where does that? What Google search do you start with to find that chat room?
In at least one instance, Valle discovered kidnapping a woman he knew and selling her to another man for $5,000. And that's according to an excerpt from conversations he had with that man. And the buyer asked if he could get the woman for a lower price, and Valle responded, no, nothing at all, indicating, I won't trade anything for the woman. You have to pay the $5,000. Like I said, this is very risky and will ruin my life if I am caught. I really need the money. In another document, he was basically writing that, I love that she is asleep right now, not having the slightest clue of what is planned. And he's referring to a woman that he's planning on kidnapping and eating. Her days are numbered. I'm glad you're on board. She does look tasty, doesn't she?
Now, and this was not about some random woman that he'd seen in the street or whatever, somebody that he's fancy. It was a specific woman that he knew, and he talked about how he can get into her house pretty easily because that he knew her and she wouldn't be suspecting anything. So that's why the cops had to arrest him, because they were worried he was on the precipice of actually carrying this out.
Right.
And the fact that they caught him before he did anything, one, kudos to the New York City Police Department, and secondly, like what? I mean, he would have been caught instantly. I mean, this is how bad he is at planning, that he's talking about it with everyone ahead of time.
Online,
I mean, I'm sure it would have been a flawless crime.
I think it was his ex-wife that turned him in.
Yeah, it was his ex-wife. So kudos for her for turning him in. And
she's lucky she didn't get
getting out of the marriage.
I know.
And he was a cop himself?
Yeah, and in one of the cases, he stalked a woman in his cop car. Okay, so, I mean, kudos to the other NYPD for catching him. By the way, I'm glad they didn't do the blue line on this one. Could you imagine? They're like, nope, a cop's a cop.
Yeah, right.
Okay, we're going to stand behind him. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, they didn't. Yeah.
Right.
What is up with all the cannibals recently? Like, now I'm starting to think that cannibalism has been a problem in society for a while. We just never knew about it. And now all of a sudden, because of media and because of the internet, we're finding out about it more and more. Like, I wonder how many people have cannibalized others, but we just never found out.
None. 42.
You don't know
Really?
that.
It's not.
I bet it was more than that.
I'm closer to Anna. Higher.
171. It's not a thing people do.
I don't know, all of a sudden, if
All of a sudden,
someone's
everybody's
looking
doing it.
at me as if I'm tasty, I'm going to be a little skeptical.
Right.